My name is Carsten Brinkschulte. I'm co-founder and CEO of Dryad Networks, and we're about ultra-early detection of wildfires. That's the core theme that we're doing. The company is called Dryad Networks because we actually create networks in the forest, but the key application we're going to market with initially is ultra-early detection of wildfires. Why did we choose wildfires? Because we're an impact for profit. So our main mission is to have an environmental impact as the strategy of the business. But we want to do that profitably so we can actually scale more and have even more impact. Now, why do wildfires present a good theme in this? Because wildfires cause between 6 and 8 billion tons of CO2 emissions. That's about 20% of the global CO2 emissions that can be traced back to wildfires. And that's a staggering amount. It's the same amount the entire traffic puts into the air each year. Now, the more interesting thing for us is that 80% of the fire starts are actually human-induced. So it's arson, reckless behavior, technical faults, accidents that's causing most of the fire starts. And that's exactly what we want to address with our technical solution. There's also a financial impact of wildfires, which enables our business model with more than $140 billion of global economic damage. And that's a very conservative number. I've recently read about 600 to 800 billion in a similar context of business loss and property damages caused by wildfires. Now, we have a solution that addresses this, or at least a part of it. And what we focus on is the ultra-early detection of wildfires. Now, when you think about wildfires, most people think, oh, yeah, that must be a satellite solution, right? And satellites are great for overviewing the effects of wildfires and the progression of wildfires once they have started and become big. They're great for doing evacuation planning and to coordinate counterattacks to contain the fire. They're not really that good for detecting fires when they first started because they simply don't have the resolution, or they don't pass often enough to be early enough in the life cycle of a fire. So it takes several hours for them to detect. And by that time, the fire is already big and out of control. Now, cameras are a bit earlier in the game. They overlook the tree canopy and look for smoke plumes rising above. Now, that's pretty good, assuming that the fire underneath is hot enough to drive the smoke above the tree canopy so that it can be seen from a few kilometers afar. And that, again, takes several hours from the point when you drop a cigarette before they can actually detect. Now, our approach with Dryad is a different one. We have developed gas sensors. We want to detect fires as early as the smoldering phase. So when you drop a cigarette, within the next few minutes, maybe up to an hour or so, we want to ring the alarm bells and call the fire brigades to the exact geolocation, enabling the firefighters to extinguish a fire before it spreads out of control. The way we've done it is with a product suite we call SilverNet. And SilverNet consists of 3 components. The first one is a solar-powered gas sensor that basically, like an electronic nose, it can smell a fire. It has built-in AI, so it can smell and identify the patterns that are typical for the smell of a fire, effectively. It's sensitive to hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and VOCs. And then once it detects a fire, it sends out a wireless signal over the air, eventually reaching the fire brigades. But as you know, in the forest, there typically is no mobile network, right? When you go hiking, that's it. No more WhatsApp, no more YouTube. Now, how do we get a signal out? By creating our own networks, and that's what we call Dryad Networks. So we create a large-scale, low-cost, solar-powered mesh network infrastructure in the forest that enables our sensors to communicate from the depth of the forest and bring the alarms out to the firefighters. We also have a cloud monitoring platform that actually can be used for device management, alerting, and data collection. So it's an end-to-end solution. If you go a bit more in-depth from a technical side, I'm a tech guy, so I love these slides. We actually built these large-scale solar-powered mesh networks in the forest. And we invested like 4 years building this stuff. And it's quite difficult to do. So we do low-cost, large-scale, solar-powered IoT network infrastructure in the forest. And then we enable the sensors to communicate from the depth of the forest to reach the internet and our cloud platform. We're about to add satellite connection to our gateways and sensors as well. so that we can even connect our mesh networks, even in the most remote locations of the Amazon, where there is absolutely no telecommunications coverage. So we build terrestrial networks that have then a satellite backhaul connectivity. From a business perspective, we try to keep the cost as low as possible because we will need a lot of those sensors, about 1 sensor per hectare ideally. We can reach longer areas, but larger areas, but with 1 sensor per hectare, you get really, really fast detection within minutes after a fire ignition. So the price is actually key, and we drove the price really low. Despite the devices being manufactured in Germany and not containing any Chinese components, we are able to offer the product as at €90. $100 and the gateways are relatively cheap as well. We sell to private forestry, municipalities, and utilities. These are our customers that actually offer the solution, use the solution. Forestry needs to protect the assets. Municipalities are interested in public safety. And power line companies and railroad companies need to prevent the liabilities that they can cause when the fire they start, as well as the asset protection when fires damage the infrastructure. We have 40 resellers that are taking our products to market, so we go indirectly with a B2B to B strategy, and we focus on product and sales and marketing, and we leave the go-to-market to the actual resellers in the region. We've got a lot in Europe, Greece, Spain, Portugal, Italy, but also California, Canada, and now we're picking up in Chile, and as far as Asia now. Last year, we sold 20,000 units in the first year of sale, so we got a good pickup already with about 1.1 million euros revenue. This year, we're aiming about 3.5 to 4 million euros revenue. And we're selling through some of the largest resellers that you might have known, like Vodafone, for example, is reselling our solution, Steel as well. And we're just about to work with Bosch to actually get a global distribution for our products. We've built an exceptional team. Initially, I was handling most of the company myself, but now we need to scale. So we brought in a CTO, an experienced CTO, an experienced chief operating officer to handle supply chain, logistics, manufacturing, and the chief sales officer. We're now 48 people based out of Germany. We develop all the products ourselves, and we're strongly backed by investors, institutional investors from Germany, like eCapital, but also US investors, Toba Capital, Semtech, and others like Tellus Pollinator recently joined our board of investors. We have just closed a convertible for 6.3 million euro in April, and that is a convertible which we offered at 20% discount towards a Series B that we're aiming to raise towards the end of the year of 15 to 20 million euro, which we obviously need in order to scale and grow our business on a global basis. And that will be my presentation. I'm actually giving back some time to you, Marco.
Thank you, Carsten.